Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. It's Tuesday. It's just past 8 o'clock. So it missed only one thing. It's the PD concept. Now, if you've been following everything else, please follow us. We are live on the PDC page, the PDC for Facebook and Instagram, and my personal one as well. So if you are on any of those, say hello. And if you're watching for the first time, welcome. Really do follow us. So basically smash that like button and follow button wherever you can without damaging anything at all. As I said, smash. But absolutely fantastic to see you. Please say hello in comments as well. Say hello. I can bring you on screen and everything else. So I hope everyone's well. I hope everyone enjoyed the sunshine today, which is very rare. One of those things we just look up in the sky and you think, what is that? So what is today? So today is a very special one. If you've been following the last couple of weeks, obviously on social media, you'll know we're going to talk everything PDC camp. So PD camp. So that's the Palace Drum Camp. What do I mean by the Palace Drum Camp? Well, going to the bottom of your screen now, everything is explained. So for the people who don't know about the camp, we've got another comment. Come on. Hi, Phil. Phil says hello. Phil signed up. Fantastic. So for people who don't know about the camp is basically a 3-day or a weekend from the 5th to the 7th of April. So we're getting quite close now. We're only literally a month away. And it's a fantastic time to basically to re-energize yourself, kind of elevate your drumming, be with other like people on the same drumming journey with some fantastic tutors. And it's here in Redditch. So it's the Friday, Saturday and Sunday, or just the Saturday and Sunday, whatever you can do. But you need to be here because it's now, it's coming up. I think this is now the 4th or 5th one we're done. And every single one's been absolutely fantastic. So we need you guys because we want to basically share the wealth. Now we say we, it's just me on the screen at the moment, isn't it? So I better introduce you the camp tutors, and here they are. There we are. The camp tutors. So we have. Well, we start with our camp residential tutors. They're not camp by any means. We've got Mr. Pete Cater, the statesman of swing. I've stated him, and I hope he likes that, statesman of swing, and everything else regarding wealth of knowledge as well. And then we have Mr. Do I have to say it? Grammy Award-winning drummer, Mr. Rob Bryan. Yes, you have to say that.
Checks in the post.
Thank you very much. We have Mr. Spike Smith. If you're not sure, it's the one with the beacon. And we have the fantastic, that way, Emma. Emma sounds like Emma Taylor. There she is. Absolutely brilliant. So this is basically the camp. There's one person missing because he's our special guest, which we'll talk about that later on. So, but yeah, these are our camp tutors. Now, Pete and Rob, you've been here since the absolute conception of the PD camp. Pete, can you just tell us what how you find the PD camp and what people can expect from it?
It's great. It's really immersive. It's very full on. There's so much experience that people can take away from the whole range of knowledge and background that the various tutors have. And in that way, it's a unique opportunity and extremely competitively priced as well, if I might say so.
Yes, thank you very much for noticing that. Yes, we try to keep everything as low as we possibly can because we want to give as much as we possibly can back. We are a charity, so we do have grants and everything else when we can actually get grants. But we want to keep everyone so everybody can, there's no kind of barrier for anyone. And if people are thinking about, I can't really afford this kind of stuff, get in touch with me. That we can put you on a price plan or something payment kind of thing. Please don't be shy. Please be safe because I know times are hard for some people, for a lot of people as well, to be honest. So there we are. Rob, obviously you've been here as well, along with Pete. What do you actually take from the camp? Because obviously we know what Pete's just basically said about the actual camp mates, but what do the tutors take? Because we talk about this quite a lot, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I mean, for me, it's amazing to see some people come in on the first day little bit nervous, looking at the companion book and thinking, oh crikey, what's all this? And then by the time they're going on the Sunday, they've kind of blitzed all that. They've got all the experience. There's one right now. I mean, look at that. And the drumming community is the best community, I think, because they're so supportive. And all the various people that come along are at different stages of their careers. Some are semi-pros, some are pros, some are beginners, and they can all hang together. And they can all share information with each other without saying, hey, man, that's my lick, And you know what? On this recent Ringo thing, I met some people who've come to the camp, and they're still friends with some of the people they met at the camp, and they go and see them play. So it's like all the drumming chums coming together. It's amazing. It's such a positive vibe for everybody, and as tutors as well, it's just amazing. We just love the love that shared over those 3 days. Amazing.
Yeah, there is a lot of love shared. So for people who are talking about, this is the Camp Companion. This was last year's. You can still see Pete and Rob there. We had the amazing Gabor Dornay and Ian Matthews there. And what it is basically that's almost like the timetable. Now, don't worry about that, but that's the kind of timetable you see on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it is full on. These guys have signed up to basically be a part of this, and you will be teaching that. But the main thing about it is that everything is in one place. You get all the information from all the tutors in one place. And if I just wrote down some of the subjects that was covered last year, Rob, you were doing developing passing phrases, grooves with a hi-hat subdivision, finding your inner rhythm. Pete, you did a whole series which I thought was fascinating. Musical applications of sticking. And it was basically 1, 2, and 3 over the 3 sessions, which is brilliant. Gabor, he did a table of time and system, paradiddle grooves and orchestration, samba lessons. Ian Matthews did us like a Latin doorways, feeling feet, so basically how to use your feet. Again, another kind of paradiddle groove as well. And there's some bonus things in there, but you can only find that out once you come to the actual camp itself. So I'm going to come to you. Richie Burns says hello. There he is. All
Richie.
good, thank you.
Hi, Richie.
Hi, Richie.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm going to come to you in a minute, Emma. The reason for is Spike. You've been on a couple of these kind of things before, including the well-established and amazing Freddie G camp, haven't you? And what do you basically get with that? Because obviously it's a different camp. But it's the same kind of concept, people get together, you learn. It's like you the drumming brethren, I suppose we can say it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to doing this camp, and of course I haven't done it yet, so I can't make a kind of a comparison. Not that I'm here to do that, but yeah, they're great places, aren't they? You basically, you have so many different personalities and people whose interest is wide and varied. But I think that the critical thing is, to have the variation with the tutors as well. And of course, in what I have done, with Freddie G and a couple of others, that variation has been there. In fact, I've been there when Pete's been there twice, I think. And
at least twice.
In one room, and I'm doing, in the other. Or we might be on different days, but that's what I enjoy about it, is when you meet the people that come, the students, if you will, and they might think they're not interested, or what you may have to offer may not be of interest to them. But once you start to actually get into the bare bones of it, everybody comes on board. And I found myself when I've stayed, sometimes I've stayed, a morning after I've done my teaching, and I've gone into somebody else's class, and I think, well, this kind of might not have applied to me, but within a few minutes, I'm like, Jesus, this is great. It's like, I wish I was staying up, longer to listen to more of what they said. So that's what I find, is the draw of it is, once you go to these kind of things, it's just obviously like a wealth of information, isn't it? And,
it is. What to say?
And very importantly, inspiration. It's about inspiring and being inspired as well. It's not always just about about the licks and that. Of course, that's important. That's what people are paying for. But if you can go away with maybe like a better attitude towards something, and more open to something you might not have been open to before, so so that's, and I hope to bring a little bit of that. That's
Great. Yeah, well, we'll talk about who's going to bring stuff, but yeah, it's like, opening your eyes to different ways, I suppose, of drumming, and we're talking about drumming, nothing else, by the way, before we get carried away. But so I did teach on the first cover, but I decided to actually take a step back, literally spike for that reason, is because I love going round all to the other site tutors and basically just sitting there sometimes when I'm not feeding these guys biscuits and coffees.
That's critical as well.
Pete, I think you have said you're there. It's the best camp for biscuits.
It is, yeah, and cake.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Cake. So if you were, and there will be more cake because Mr. Pete Cake. So you did celebrate a birthday, quite a big one. You was 21 again plus VAT, weren't you? And this year. Actually, on the Saturday, it will be my birthday, so there will be cake as well. So yeah, plenty of that. But getting back to it, it's like it's great basically to actually not being part of it, so I can actually experience everyone's there. And obviously, then I do the editing for the videos for our membership and all that on the P. And it's great, it's just absolutely brilliant, and I get so much inspiration out of it. So so do that. Now we come to Emma. She's been patiently waiting there. I can see you there, Emma. Thank you very much. First of all, have you ever done anything like this before? I'm not talking about this live. I'm talking about a camp, a drum camp.
No, I haven't had the opportunity to actually do a proper camp. I've done a couple masterclasses and talks, but really, in the grand scheme of things, not that much stuff like this. So I'm super excited, very, very excited.
Well, we're super excited to have you as well, because the reason why I've asked Emma for people who, to be honest, been living under us like a rock for the last maybe year or so. You haven't seen Emma basically plastered right over social media. Is that you're going to get something which is, I think I was editing one of the videos from last year, guys, and Rob said, in one of our little sessions in the morning, you know what I'm talking about, on the Sunday morning.
Yes.
So I have a lot of energy. I haven't got as much energy, I think, in Emma's little finger. She has absolutely got an abundance of energy. And when it comes to everything else regarding drums, you're going to be in for such a fantastic treat. Emma, what sort of thing are you going to come and bring the PD camp attendee, or campmates, as we call them?
God, such compliments. Blimey, I wasn't prepared. So I'm hoping.
Well, I got your check earlier, so I'm cashed it, yeah.
I basically want to talk about things I'm passionate about, which I'm sure we're all doing, which is always good. So it's like the accents through 6-stroke rolls and stuff, things that just have served me so unbelievably well. But I'd say I'm not an uber technical player. Yeah, I mean, what is technical? But in my own book, I like to keep things as accessible to people as possible. So even if people are coming along and they feel like they're quite beginnery, I think there will definitely be something I bring to the table that can give them something very, very useful that you can kind of take away and really chip away at and advance upon over a long kind of span of time, even past the weekend. So that was the main one I'm really looking forward to, is 6 strokes, because people always have a good reaction to that one. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, I can play like Mitch Mitchell, this is amazing. But I was just trying to think, what have I actually agreed about? Because there are a number of ideas I had.
While you're thinking about that, it's a good thing you just said there about the ability. Now, the ability of the camp, actually, there is no kind of I'm glad I just didn't feel basically just come on it. There's no limits, no like lower limits, no upper limit. I do say that even if from the very beginning, we had a couple of beginners last year, and we had Phil Seeley, and it's just so last year was so good. I'm coming back in this year. Now, Phil, I hope you don't mind me saying this. Phil basically fell in love with drumming at a very late stage in his life. He's still a very young man, but he basically wanted to come. He got involved very heavily. But he came to me on the Sunday, said, I've really enjoyed this time, but I think I'm out my depth and everything else on the Sunday. I'm just going to go home. I said, no, come in. It's absolutely fine. If you need to sit there, sit there. He came after me at the end of everything. He said, I'm glad you persuaded me because I've learned so much. I've connected with people. I think he went down to see Gabor. We had the lessons kind of stuff, and we had literally beginners there, and some people literally just taking it in and just like being with other drummers. See on where they are on their journey. And again, if you're kind of seasoned pro, as I say, I think we'll all take something away from this camp to make ourselves better as well. So the whole kind of thing is like wherever you're on your drumming journey, you're going to basically have another part or another kind of avenue where you can actually maybe go and discover a little bit more about maybe your own drumming, your own kind of maybe personality behind the drum kit. Pete, do you know what you're going to be doing this year?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to be talking about something that I kind of developed a few years ago, and it's colossal. And it's something that I call dexterity. Because that's exactly what it is. Because we all spend so much of our lives, which way's the camera, playing 16th notes, 8th notes, triplets, and that's actually not what music requires that much of the time. Music doesn't go well, some of it does, but just to get drummers to understand how your two hands and your feet can articulate different sticking patterns over different rhythms is a real game changer. It's something I just came up with for myself a few years ago, and it is proved time and time again to be the gift that keeps on giving. And you don't have to spend your life flat. Nobody's ever going to pay you to play a paradiddle in public, except for in the very most arcane circumstances. But taking that kind of sticking knowledge and that logic and being able to superimpose it over different rhythms on any part of the drum set is it's an awful cliche, but it's a huge game changer. And that's going to be the cornerstone of what I'm going to be talking about this year. But I've got some other things up my sleeve as well. Or later.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and also it's for any style as well, I suppose, isn't it? It's not because obviously people know you as, I call you Statesman of Swing, but I think that I love about your masterclasses and your teaching. It's never anything about any style. It's basically the way you play, isn't it?
No. If you understand what's going on, none of this stuff is truly genre specific. You can take all these concepts and techniques and apply them to music in the broadest possible sense.
Yeah. Brilliant. Spike, come to you now. So Spike, we've called you like the hard hitting metal punk drummer, which is a fantastic thing to obviously have for the camp, because obviously we've never really had this style covered before. And I think we're going to get a few people. I know a few people said, I'm really looking forward to Spike because obviously, into the punk and stuff like that. So what can we expect from you at the camp?
Well, I mean, one thing I want to say, I'm glad that I've been invited to do it, because I still feel that this style of music is pretty, underrepresented, in the educational sense. So I enjoy the chance to get the opportunity to speak about it and to try and, educate a little bit with it. Like Pete actually was just saying, what I'm doing can be, non sort of, genre specific musically, but I do root it in the kind of, the high energy punky drumming. So there's a rhythm that I often use as a basis called the D beat, which is it's a rhythm that came to prominence around the turn of the 80s from a band called Discharge. And, it's been spread far and wide. And D-beat as a musical style it's a massive style. But, the D-beat has become, synonymous with punk drumming as, the clave has with Latin, And but not a lot of people know it, not in the broader sense of things. So I start with that. And another point of interest here is that the DB was first played in the punk sense. I mean, it's probably been played, over thousands of years, but as a kind of, what I'm dealing with as a punk rhythm by a drummer. Well, it wasn't even really a drummer. It was somebody in a band that moved to drums because they lost their drummer. And within 6 weeks was recording the first record that is now a legendary pattern. So from that point of view, educationally, we can start at that point, so, anybody that might be a little bit frightened or fearful of even coming to something like like a drum camp, it's that, if you can barely play, there's something to latch onto. But of course, it becomes broader and deeper for those that maybe, they quest and thirst for the knowledge. So I look at bringing other concepts to the DB. I play it in a jazz fashion, which I actually got from a Tony Williams solo. I found it, he's not playing the DB as such, but it's funny that it appears in a Tony Williams solo. I can use it with odd times, a little bit of Latin, linear patterns, concepts that are, I don't know if they're more modern concepts, but they're certainly more fashionable currently. So, I'm using that as a fundamental and taking it from there. And then maybe also some double bass drum stuff, some sort of, metal stuff, drawing on how to apply, these ideas to your musical style. This is something I'm very big on. I mean, that I get called on for a lot of, obviously, the stuff that you mentioned, but I draw a lot on jazz, and I draw a lot on reggae, and I draw a lot on funk. Now, it might not sound anything like that, but that's where it's coming from. If I'm playing a melodic fast ride cymbal, it's not coming from punk, it's coming from Latin, but I'm applying it to that. So I like to talk about stuff like that, but in the sense of maybe I could be, saying it to some of the students more. It's like, okay, well, you're into drum and bass, but you don't only have to play funk rhythms for that. It's like, that's what it started with. And we know, we all know it's rooted in that and it's sped up, but, find something else, that you can maybe bring to it. So hopefully that's what I hope to bring to the table.
Well, that's great, because we've obviously we've done the DB. If people are like, I've got the membership,
yes,
the app, and it is a fantastic thing, It's like
I'll be expanding on that, but that'll be the root of it as well. So some people may be familiar, and all the better if they are, but I'll be going deeper than that,
Yeah, great. Well, so I look forward to that because I thoroughly enjoyed your session basically for the app. So, Pete, we've got your fan here, dear Thomas. Pete always makes sense. There we are. Dear Thomas Lang. How you doing, Tom?
Massively assured to see that. Who said that?
Sorry?
Who made that comment?
That's Tom Lang.
Tom.
Oh, okay. Tom.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah. So that just leaves one person. Rob, what are we going to be doing? We have him all Ringo. Because obviously that's what we were speaking to you about last. Oh, sorry, Sir Ringo. Now, I suppose.
Peace and love.
Yeah. But no, what do we expect from you this year? Because obviously, you and Pete, you've been doing it for a while, and every single year you both come back with something absolutely fantastic. So don't disappoint this year, hopefully.
No, it's a secret. I can't tell you.
All right. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you.
No, I've been hella busy, but the thing I'm going to be looking at is session skills, from building click tracks to dynamics, playing parts, all those kind of things. And I'm actually working with a producer friend of mine who I've been spending a lot of time with, talking about what they look for from a drummer when they're recording. So I'm not just getting it from obviously a trillion years of experience and tracking in studios, but I'm also talking to this engineer producer about it as well, and developing ideas from him. So I'm going to bring in some inside info, not just from the drum chair, but also from the other side of the window, if you like, to the sound guys as well. So it's going to involve, tuning, but a lot of playing stuff, which again is going to cover, like the other chaps and chapesses have said, which is going to cover all the styles You know, it's not just going to be one specific thing. So if you're a reggae drummer, you're a punk drummer, you know, whatever kind of drummer, you can come in and get something from this. You know, and I'm really working hard on developing it because I haven't got very long, and I've been so busy, like you say, I've been out and about doing stuff. So you know, I'm still kind of chalking up the ideas, but I'm really fired up about it, which is good. Because if I'm fired up about it, then other people should be as well. You know.
Well, the thing is, it's the life skills of a drummer, isn't it? You know, we've all basically been in there. It's like, you know, you think it's one idea, and the producer goes, "Can you do this?" And obviously, Pete, you're now a producer. We see from your own left, that's a Mr. PC label, isn't it? Yeah. So it's that kind of concept, and a lot of people, I think, will learn so much about it because sometimes in our job you have to say yes, even if you don't agree to basically what's happening, because you're literally there as, you know, you're employed to do what they want you to do, aren't they? Sometimes there's ways of obviously twisting people's arms and all that kind of stuff, but yeah.
It's about serving the music. You know, at the end of the day, it's about that. I think it's Quincy Jones at his studio has got this, like, you know, umbrella stand or something with a sign saying like, "Leave your egos here." And I think a lot of, you know, drummers don't, and musicians generally don't understand that, you know, sometimes they might ask you to change up your equipment and give you stuff that you don't want to play. But you've always got to go back into the control room and hear what's being, you know, produced on the tape or, you know, or on the computer. You need to hear what's coming back. Then you go, now I see why I'm using that horrible B8 cymbal. It actually sounds quite good on this track, you know, or snare drum or a part. You know, so there's loads of that, and you know, I'm going to have to bring a little amplifier as well because I need to build some click tracks as well. So that's going to be part of it.
Okay.
From Logic.
Well, I'll bring mine because you could do Bluetooth and stuff that for you.
Thank you very much, sir.
So, guys, it's like it's going to be fantastic. So, you know, people are screaming at the screen, going, "Yes, I want to come, but how do I sign up?" Well, it's only one place to go. It's the palacedrumclinic.com. If you click on events, you'll see under the basically drop down that says the PD Camp 2024. Go on there; it tells you a little bit more about it, and then you basically go and click go. It's £50 literally to reserve your place. By the balance will have to be paid by the end of this month, the 31st. But yeah, so just basically go there, reserve your place. There isn't really kind of a limit. We can have, but you know, but we may have to have a cut off if it gets too much. But please don't wait. Go, oh yeah, do you know what? I want to do that, but I'm going to wait. Do not wait, please, because we have to obviously, the organisation is obviously done by me, and you know, all these kind of things. I have to basically be on top of the game for doing this. So if you get yourself in early, then everything else will be fine. You make my life so much easier. So Emma, what can you, one bit of advice, and I'll ask everybody, but one bit of advice for people who are sitting on the fence, who thinking about coming, what would you say to them?
I mean, I want to go, and I'm part of it, so that's a good enough reason, I think. Like, I can already see just how much information people will gain. I, like you, Matt, wish kind of I could just be a spectator now, because this all sounds really, really cool.
Yeah,
I'm ready to kind of be re-inspired, because I just want new stuff thrown at me. So if you want that, this is the right place to go.
There we are. Pete, same question.
Well, I've done a lot of these kind of events over the last decade or so, and I've seen a lot of people who've been first timers at drum camp, and you know, they weren't very sure about where they belonged in the community, and they've taken to it and got so much from it that they are now like serial attendees of, you know, a number of, you know, you mentioned Freddie G. There's Adrian Russell's camp down in Bristol. People who just come back time and time again, and they love it. And it's a great learning and sharing experience. And there's a great community. It's like being part of a kind of secret social club. It's an ongoing party that lands in various places throughout the year. And if you're into your drumming and into hanging out with other people who are into their drumming, then it's the only place to be. Definitely. If you've never done a drum camp, do one. Be sure and get involved and give it a try.
Yeah, you will not be disappointed. So, Spike, same question. What kind of advice can you give to someone?
Well, do you know what? Talking here now, if I wasn't, there as one of the educators, I'd, want to be there as one of the students.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds it
Or you
sounds
can
exciting.
pay on
exciting.
punishfrom.com. You can pay, Spike, no problem.
Yeah. Well, I'll be there as one of the students next year, I guess. I'm the same. I've seen, like Pete says, it's sometimes people are reluctant. I think they're can be a little bit fearful. One of the things is definitely like that they don't feel that that they have enough ability, which is why I was emphasizing about the fact that what I could start with can be from very, very basic. But once those people come, or anybody comes, you do tend to find once they experienced it once, it's something they want or do keep on doing, and it's a great community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I would encourage anybody that's a bit uncertain to take the plunge. There's far worse ways of spending your money from the educational point of view, or just an indulgence point of view. So it's money very, very well spent, and it is always great when you do these things to find yourself delving into something you might not necessarily or ordinarily think you would do. And that's, like the difference, isn't it? Because if you go for something online or watching YouTube, you're always going to pick the same kind of things that you think are going to help you playing, which, often don't. And, like something like Rob was saying about, and Pete was saying the things that they're teaching, they're not the everyday things that a drummer would go for, because they would go for can I get a faster paradiddle? Can I play this? And they are thrown when somebody says, like in the studio, listen, can you just play your left hand lighter? Because it's too heavy. And that's a true, that's the kind of thing that you get when you come to these kind of, camps, because somebody may try something and be, you're very sorry, I've got to point with my left hand here because everything's wrong with you. You're already going to be working my weaker side. You're able to say, look, you've got it, but this is the one little thing that you need to change. And that one little thing could be the critical factor. So that's why I think these kind of events and camps are great. So, everybody benefits that comes. And as Pete says, once you dip your toe in, for the most part, you keep coming, because you experience the benefits.
Thank you. And coming to you finally, Rob, if they're sitting on the fence, what are you going to do?
Exactly. I'm going to push them in and pull them in. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, it's a no-brainer, really. I mean, like we've already said, the drumming community is so strong. You're going to meet new friends. You're going to get something out of every single lesson you do. And it could just be one little thing that suddenly, when you go home and you work on it, it's like a little acorn suddenly grows into a huge idea that you just didn't know that you were going to come up with, and it could be from any one of us. It could be from you, Matt, when you're talking to them when people are having a coffee and say, you could also try this. And then another chum with a sandwich comes over and says, hey, have you ever tried doing it on the floor, Tom? Have you ever tried doing it with your feet instead of your hands? It's like, and it's just constant information and the sharing of information, which I think is absolutely fantastic, And I think, like you say, fear is a thing as well. People think, it's going to be all chops, or they're going to be really scary, or all the other people are going to be better than me. And music isn't a competition. It's not a sport. As I said before, you're going to get beginners, you're going to get experienced people, and everyone puts their arm around each other and says, come on, we can do this. And I love that, as I say, and it's like, it's addictive. Like Pete said, it's addictive. Once you do it once, you make those friendships on Facebook and Instagram, and you see them, you go to their gigs in 6 months' time, then you come back to this a year later and you say, how are you doing? It's like, I've progressed to here. I've now joined a band. I'm doing sessions. It's like, it's amazing. Or just playing for fun. But it's like, you can't deny yourself that experience, because you're going to cut yourself off from such a great time. And there's also, can I say, an amazing curry that we have on the Saturday night. What could be better?
Unfortunately, Rob, you've dropped a clanger.
What?
Unfortunately, we can't go to that curry house because it closed down through storm damage.
So
Oh, really? That's it. I'm not coming. It's all over.
no curry.
But there is
Oh,
a
no.
fantastic Japanese stroke Chinese literally down the road from the pub. So that's
Brilliant.
That'll do.
That'll do.
But yeah. So the social will be on the Saturday. So it's literally what Rob was talking about on the Friday. Basically, Friday evening, you basically just want to crash out because I'll have you up very early. And I've had a request to do exactly what I did last year, Pete and Rob, for the warm-ups as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want you to basically lead that one, Rob, please. And then so then on the Saturday, because it's full day, we'll have our special guest, which we haven't mentioned yet. So Rob has obviously been just literally finished last month the tour with Gary Astridge with all about Sir Ringo. And we're going to have Gary and actually going to talk about, rather than actually talking about Ringo, actually talk about his relationship with Ringo, rather than about the drum kits and everything else. How they basically meet. Through obviously the love of Ringo as drum kits and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be special, and that'll be zoomed in from the States because Gary lives in Buffalo. So that's going to be very special. We had Dorothea Taylor do it last year, and it worked so well. Got a massive screen, so we can all answer the questions. So that'd be great. So you have a little break. And then on Saturday evening, we'll go and have a drink. We have to have our photo taken if you haven't been to Redditch and you don't know about the world of John Bonham, you will do after this camp as well. So we have a special photo taken every year, and then we go basically enjoy ourselves. And it's, as all these guys have said, it is a community. We are so lovable, and, there's no egos where we are. And we just want to basically... If you're basically, one of the tutors, they want to spread the love, and then you're going to spread that love to everybody else as well in your drumming community as well. So inspirational, so basically energetic, anything that basically happens. So that's what you'll get from these camps is literally friendship and love of drums. I think, Emma, you've got an Instagram, so Learn to Love Drums, haven't you?
Love to learn drums. Yes.
Love
YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah, there's not a plug. It's not a plug, not yet. No, but as I say, we're going to use that tagline for that weekend. So because you will fall in love with drums again. Not necessarily your own drum kit, but maybe the actual philosophy or concept of this, that, and the other. So learn to love drums again. So maybe we use that. Yeah. Have you got that one on YouTube or Instagram, TikTok? No. Learn to love drums again.
Got to snap it.
You've got it now, though. You've got it now. Yeah. Okay. No, but fantastic, guys. So yeah, one more thing. If you are, as I say, please go to palacedrumclinic.com and you'll find basically on there under the events. PD Camp 2024. Sign up now. £50 just to secure your place. Please do it as soon as possible because we haven't got that long, in all fairness, and we need to get as many people basically organised. We need to get the camp companion printed. I need to get all these guys. So I've got a lot to organise. So if you come in early, then I can basically organise you super, super smoothly. And it does go super smooth as well because I don't get any sleep for about 3 weeks. But it's absolutely fine. I love it. Guys, Emma, Pete, Spike, and Rob, thank you very much for joining us. People back at home, thank you very much for entertaining us. This was the longest concept we've ever done, but I hope you've appreciated worth it. If you know somebody who wants to basically think they want to come to the camp, get them there, spread all this stuff that we've done already. Just share, follow. All these amazing guys on screen as well. They've all got their own Instagrams and Facebooks and YouTube and stuff like that. Follow them because we're all community together. We try to help everybody out as much as we possibly can, and we support each other at the same time. So thanks, guys, for joining us. Next time I'll see you, not hopefully in little squares or oblongs. I've got one thing. Oh, Richie, thanks, Richie. Good luck, guys. We'd love to come, but on tour maybe next year. Of course, I'll book you up. We're taking bookings now, Richie. So the next time we'll see, it will be in person, not on a flat screen. Yes. So it will be at the PD camp, and I'm so looking forward to seeing all you guys and hanging out again. I will stock the cupboards, Pete, with plenty of biscuits and coffee for you.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Rob, I'll make sure there is plenty of sleeping facilities for you in the Spike. We're just going to be talking about that. And Emma, you've got to bring that energy because I want to bottle it and sell it, if that's all right.
As long as I get a cut, that's fine. That's
Yes,
fine.
I'll give you 2%. But thanks so much, guys. I will see you again. Please, please, please sign up as much as you can. PalestDrumClinic.com, and we'll see you again on another PD concept. If not tomorrow with Todd Zuckerman, but that's tomorrow. Anyway,
you
take
there.
care, guys. All the best. Bye bye.